It's just a whirlwind here at the shop. We have a lot going on, which is quite bananas. But I wanted to touch base with all of you since I haven't seen you since the SEMA show a couple weeks ago in Las Vegas. And so many great things have happened since then. We're here at the Bisimoto facility. I have a few projects behind me here. I have a Jeep Wagoneer, the Neo EP9, and this lovely Caterham. And I want to use the opportunity to interact with all of you. And not only to say hello, and hopefully you're staying nice and dry during this crazy time in Southern California. And I guess also if you're in the tri-state area, being Nevada and Arizona, you're probably seeing some rain as well. So please do stay safe. Austin, DH is saying, hope you are well, BC. Thank you so much. I am. So far, so good. It's been a crazy week, lots of work, just amazing. Patricia, PCP Rocks says, BC Rocks. Thank you so much, Patricia, who was such a great advocate for us during our Mythbusters show. She made sure that everything went smoothly. She's an amazing individual and made our life very easy out there on set. So thank you so much. And I think the last time I saw you was in Napa. So good seeing you again, Patricia. Good afternoon to you, Joe Dirt S2K, who I saw at SEMA. I love your name. It was so good putting faces to all the digital signatures out in Nevada. So for those of you who do not know what the SEMA show is a specialty equipment market association, SEMA. And this is a place where we celebrate everything aftermarket, whether you're into petrol cars, EVs, hybrids, wherever the case may be, that is the place to be. Every year, it's like our launch of our fiscal year. It allows us to showcase some of the beautiful projects from here at Bisimoto, and then use the opportunity to talk about them, showcase that to the world, and then also introduce new products we have from our stable here, which is good. The entire team and I are typically there with some clients and technical partners as well. It's a good week of interaction, showmanship, and just technology. So we love it. And typically, if you're anywhere near the Toyota Tread Pass or even SEMA Future Tech, you typically see some of the builds from Bisimoto there. Elysium Racing, who I was hoping to see in Nevada for SEMA, wasn't there, gave me my #1 gifter badge on TikTok. Thank you so much, Elysium Racing. Hopefully it's Ellis doing that as well. So good seeing you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And appreciate your support and advocacy indeed. Twin Turbo Tuesday says, bought of Scottsdale. By the way, for those of you who know about this beautiful, see that right there? That beautiful lean pin right there. That is the Bisimoto 935 Kremer, which was built in conjunction and as a, how should I say, a commissioning by the Vault of Scottsdale and also a very good friend, Charlie Ferrer. So thank you so much for joining. And thank you also for choosing us for your amazing build. BC, I have a picture of a CRZ signed by you from my dad. Wow, that's old school. Thank you so much for that. The CRZ is still alive and well. Kyle Gary says, what's up, BC? Can you rev your D16 Y8 Pro valve springs to? What can I rev your Y8 Pro springs valve to? So on the D series, that particular Pro valve spring was developed on my own record-winning, record-breaking, award-gathering, drag race championing CRX with a D series. And I was able to take that to 8,700 without qualm. Now, on a Spintron machine, which is a device that allows you to test harmonics and spring rates and longevity of springs, we've done 14,000 RPMs without qualm. But my engine didn't make much power post 9,000. So about 8,700 starts dropping off and tend to shift at 9. So I rev mine to 8,700. By the time you shift, I look at my logs, it goes past that to almost 9,000, that's it. But via Spintron test, 14K, no qualm whatsoever. MP Motor SBA says, fellow from Brazil. Hello from Brazil. Thank you so much for joining us across the pond in South America. Really appreciate your presence here. I want to showcase my Interceptor at SEMA, says MWL Supercar. I'm curious because if you are local and you have one, and if you are also a peace officer, let me know. Maybe we can work together because I'm thinking about doing something very unique for the emergency services realm. Good seeing you at SEMA, says JR Flexo. Good seeing you as well, brother. It's been such a long time. Fantastic catching up with you out in SEMA in the Future Tech booth. And also giving my #2 gifter badge. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So amazing indeed. I'm doing great, K30 Fly G35. Hopefully you're doing great as well. Where do I get one, says T. Verduzco. Well, you can do a search for Bisimoto 935 or lean pin on eBay. You can also look on the Bisimoto website, and yeah, you can be able to achieve this lovely pin. It's quite beautiful. This was actually the mystery pin at SEMA. So the team Toyo USA had a variety of cars, everything from old school Mercedes-Benz to an old Ferrari to the Bronco that we helped build as well. They had quite a few pins, and they had one mystery pin that was blacked out. And then this was it. A lot of enthusiasts were able to stand in line and get us to sign some of those, both Hansel and I. Hansel's the owner and creator of Lean Pins, and I was there, yours truly as well. Oh yeah, by all means, it was a great interaction as well. Exotic Fahad says, nice to see you again, BC. Good seeing you as well, even though in a digital opportunity. Yo, says JBT Win 286 on YouTube Live. Thank you so much for joining. And yes, I have a variety of interaction with all of you here. I have Friends Center, our friends at Instagram. I have TikTok Live as well, YouTube Live, and through the podcast networks, courtesy of Spotify. I'm also archiving this moment with each and every one of you, which is quite nice indeed. I want the Honda one, says user Hove1. Well, guess what? I do have a few Bisimoto wagon ones in stock. So whether you go on a Bisimoto web store or the Bisimoto eBay store, you can see both of those there and more as well. I think we also have a couple Porsche other ones, some 935s. I think I may have had a couple of Rolls Royce ones. We have some good ones here, by all means. So thank you for the support and advocacy. Appreciate you guys indeed. Any updates on the Overland Prologue, says Total Package? At this point, it hasn't been greenlit. So it has been submitted to the powers that may be at American Honda. Of course, we have the lifestyle one. We also have this lovely, what I tend to refer to as a Wagoneer, which is a crazy Jeep Wagoneer S. This thing is, guys, I'm gonna just shift the camera system over here a little bit to this. This thing is fast. It's really fast. It does 0 to 60 on our measurements, 3.3 seconds. Just as fast, if not slightly faster than a 5th gen Viper. This thing scoots. So thank you so much, Jeep, for creating something that has 0 emissions at the tailpipe, but also has this amazing luxury and speed as well. When I say luxury, guys, at SEMA, in the Future Tech booth, this thing was giving participants massages. Literally, the 2 front seats have these multitude of settings that allow you to get a nice massage, whether you're at rest or driving. It was glorious. Like, I couldn't even get some of the team members out of that. It was just absolutely bonkers. So it's a great vehicle. I'm gonna do a build series on the Jeep here. We started this life as a brand new 2025, just factory. And with the help of the guys from Brando's Auto Care, we're able to put this nice livery on it, some wheels from Brixton, some tires from Toyo, a little bit of Bisimoto flair, and there's more to come. So I'll be able to show you that as we get into the new age of different types of propulsion, some that are loud, some that are not as loud, you have the opportunity to still customize them and make them your own and enjoy accordingly. JBT Wind 286 says, back on my F22A6 boost build, someone brought it up using a block guard suggestion. Don't you think it's necessary, or do you? Great question, JBT Wind. And I'll share with you my experience with block guards. Block guards, for those of you who don't know, is almost think of a figure-8 assembly that's Siamese that goes around the open cylinders in what you've seen it, D series or B series or F22A on VTEC, or some of the other Honda engines where they have this cooling jacket surrounding a sleeve of aluminum that is impregnated by a steel sleeve. So that being said, it's really, really interesting that Honda kind of did that for cooling, but when it comes to longevity and power, if you put a lot of power and pressure in the cylinders could fracture or kind of move around and crack. So what some people have done is they came up with this opportunity where you put a short block guard that kind of goes in the water passageway and keeps the top of the cylinder rigid to help prevent any kind of damage. Now, here's the only place I've seen block guards have done well. If you do crack a sleeve, it doesn't let the sleeve crack go all the way to the bottom of the sleeve, hence rendering the block useless. What I didn't like is every company that we studied that made block guards, the expansion of the aluminum of the guard is different from the expansion that is seen by the block. So what happens when the engine gets up to temperature, there's a huge distorting that happens at the top of the cylinder, which can not only not do a great job allowing you to seal, but can cause some unwanted friction in your rotating assembly. What I tend to do instead is machine out entire aluminum sleeve and steel matrix, and then impregnate cast iron sleeves that allow you to bore out and have the strength and longevity that you desire and need. So those tend to be its own kind of built-in block guard. It is full steel, so it doesn't expand as crazy as aluminum, and it's a lot more robust and doesn't vibrate and doesn't crack. It's just a win-win situation. So because of the distorting nature of the block guards out there, and some people press them in hard, some people press them in short, either way you do it, it causes distortion of the cylinder. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and hone a cylinder with and without a block guard, use a warm honing oil, and see how crazy the distortion has at a regular, not so crazy temperature, let alone what you see in the engine when it's running. So that being said, my advice is to, how should I say, save up, use a company like Golden Eagle, sleeve your block properly, and you'll be fine. Block guards, not my cup of tea, you know? I never plan to use a block guard, says JTB Win. Yes, I agree. I would either leave it as is and build power, but if you're pushing past the needs of your engine block, sleeve it. Go to Golden Eagle, sleeve it. What I tend to do is whether I'm making 300 horsepower or 1,000, I sleeve it anyway. That's what I tend to do. So that I don't have any weird small areas of opportunity for improvement. I promised you guys and girls that I'm going to talk about my experience at SEMA, which was amazing. In our opinion, with the team and I, we all came to a consensus here. It was the best SEMA for us, period. Especially in terms of the impressions that our projects had. So as we go around the project that we had influence on, we had the Bisimoto K3V, our first EV that we built. We had the Jeep Wagoneer right here behind me. We had the very popular right over here, Odyssey Type R, which the team from JDN and I put together with our group here in Bisimoto. We had the opportunity to explore the twin-turbo LS-powered Bronco Classic that was in the Toyota Tires booth. We had the Vault of Scottsdale twin-turbo 935 K3, also in the Toyota Tires Trepass. Also in Future Tech, we had the Twisted Iron Performance 61 Impala that was running on hydrogen, which is absolutely amazing as well. And then the RS team had the twin-turbo 935 Factory that was in SEMA Central. So there was 7 cars on display, all with some Bisimoto magic in varying degrees, and it was just an amazing journey nonetheless. What we did notice is it wasn't as packed as SEMA's of yore, which is a great thing, so we have more intimate interacting. Friday, which is a public day, wasn't overwhelming, so that was good. So we're able to actually breathe and walk around a little bit. And then the tour at the end of the SEMA, trying towards the SEMA Fest when SEMA was over, went over quite quickly. So it was good. It was a very good, intimate SEMA. In my opinion, not as well attended as the year before, but from exposure perspective and the appeal for Bisimoto projects, it was the best. Absolutely best indeed. It was a blast. SEMA was a blast, says Charge Positive. I concur. It's like you took the words out of my mouth. It was absolutely fantastic. Sup Bro says, Old School Price says, show us your latest. So we have that right there. We're working on the only Neo EP9 in the country. I'm gonna try and pan over here if you guys can see that. But that's the Odyssey right there. We're doing some updates to this heat exchanging intercooler system. And above and beyond that, I'm actually scanning, and I'm gonna show some data on that tomorrow. I'm scanning some of the custom components we had made for the Odyssey to be able to bring it to production for all of you to enjoy. DCS2K, thanks for the kind words. I really appreciate that. Random question says, Sebanj, Kia K5 and Mazda CX-5, which would you go for? I would go for the Mazda at this point. My relationship with Kia, not quite strong yet, but I'm familiar with the K5 and then the Mazda. Oh my goodness. One thing about Mazda cars I love so much is if I blindfolded any of you, placed you in a Mazda and covered the badge so you wouldn't know you're in a Mazda, and then you sat in it and you were asked, what do you think this car costs? Just by sitting in the car, looking at all the accoutrements, all the creature comforts, the stitching, the design language, the suppleness of the leather, the fit and finish, I guarantee many of you may think you're in a 6-figure car, by far. 6-figure luxurious car. And lo and behold, it'll be a Mazda. Could be anything from the lower SUVs, to MXs, to the higher of the SUVs. They're just a beautiful design language and amazing materials, and the build quality is fantastic, superb. And that gives me a lot of affinity for the Mazda brand. You know, even from the old school time with the rotaries, from the Cosmo to the RX-2s to RX-7s to RX-3s to R100s, you name it. I've always had affinity for the Wankel engine. But as you fast forward to today, what they do from their SkyActiv setups, you send the cars, they deliver more than the value of the car. It's just beautiful brand, beautiful indeed. So hopefully that answers your question properly. Sounds kinky, I'm down, says Old School. Glad you got to see the Revolta and the Corvette. I did charge positive, which was amazing. So what's charge positive on YouTube is referring to is if you guys saw the minivan that we have put together that just created a stir at SEMA, just practically broke the internet. Next to it, to the left of it, driver's side, was this beautiful EV Corvette. Absolutely gorgeous. The first build by the gentleman who put it together had a lot of technology courtesy of our friends from Revolt. The thing was absolutely gorgeous. You could eat off the bottom of this car. It was absolutely fantastic. And as you went a few cars down to the opposite side of where our friends from Signal Hill were, they had these kind of half 11 beautiful vehicles there. You would also see this Revolta. And the Revolta was a beautiful classic reimagination of a car. Something that was near and dear to my heart because that's how I build my cars. You know, you look into something like this Caterham right here, you don't see any screens. It looks very analog. It has a shifter, ignition, analog base gauges that actually can in the background. I love that. If you look at the K3V that we have now, even the M16, the Mobi X, even the new Mobi that's coming out, they all look like these factory gorgeous interiors that look very analog, but under the underpinnings is just amazing technology and speed and wonderment and just acceleration. It's just top-notch tech that looks very classic. And that's what the guys who built the Revolta did. You sit in it, you swear you're in a petrol internal combustion car until you turn it on and you hit the pedal like, oh my God, this is unlike anything I've felt. So it's pretty cool indeed. So we had a great time at SEMA. We're there from Monday through Saturday. Transported back here to the shop that same Saturday afternoon, which is great. Hey, baby Moby Loading says for Carmel. Hello, for Carmel. So good to see you. By the way, this chap is a master when it comes to everything that's to do with content, creative, film, and luxury. I mean, for Carmel, amazing individual. We did a lot with Team Elysium that also is still here on TikTok, which is great. Just a good guy, and I can't wait to see you again at Monterey. And I want to plan something with you for Carmel for this Monterey as well. We want to see K3 BC, says George 3M. As a matter of fact, that K3, if I pan over here, it will tell you a little bit about the twin turbo K3. I don't know if you can see that right there. Right there I'm pointing at. That right there is the gearbox and engine for the K3. And why is it devoid of that? Because there were some parts of the build that I wasn't quite happy with from an aesthetics perspective. So despite as amazing that it looked at SEMA, there are just some sections of the build that I need improved on. So instead of leaving them together, everything was taken apart again and we're repainting the whole car and making sure that's proper. So that being said, that's some of the challenges we have as builders. It doesn't matter how amazing your technology is, if the aesthetics are not 100% there, it doesn't matter. And it's so crazy that even at SEMA, we've all seen this. Some people build beautiful builds that don't even run. In our case, we have these cars that continue to be driven on the street and tracked and just everywhere, but they have to look the part too. They have to have a lot of show and go. And so we are now having the Vault of Scottsdale. Did I say Scott of Vauxdale? Vault of Scottsdale vehicle completely stripped down and redone so it can be absolutely perfect. And I'll give you guys some updates on that journey as well. So any moment now we should have it back. The GOAT says 6110 Racing. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you indeed. And speaking of racing, I had the exposure to something last week that was just absolutely phenomenal. BMW USA was kind enough to invite me to an event that I wasn't quite sure what it was about. It was something where the OEMs were involved, so I was really excited, of course. Then it had to do with Design Works, which is a design division of BMW. They were actually quite instrumental with many of the M division models within the BMW lineup. They were instrumental to BMW's first SUV when SUVs were not a thing. They also were instrumental with the design of the i3 and now the iX3 EV with its recyclable materials, forward-thinking design language and technology that's really amazing. Also, we had the opportunity to visit the Peterson and look at their exhibit in the vault area, which laid a lot of emphasis from the E21 race cars to current model day track monsters, and it was absolutely fantastic. YouTube is asking me for a Q&A sticker, so I'm gonna start this Q&A. Is that's what's your favorite kind of juice? Mine is orange juice, which I love very much, but we'll see what people on YouTube say. It's amazing how social media always tries to get us to interact with others, even at a higher level than we typically already do. But anyway, long story short, I had an opportunity last week, Wednesday, from Santa Monica to Design Works Lab, all the way to the Peterson Museum in the evenings, a full day excursion of over 12 to 13 hours. And it was absolutely spectacular. And just gave me a better appreciation for the Bavarian Motorworks brand. I just love the fact that not only do they have a ton of influence with the BMW current and future model designs and even those of yore, but also a very strong design influence on vehicles from Rolls-Royce, including the most recent first electric Rolls-Royce that ever existed. So that being said, looking at everything from their design language ethos all the way to their current modifications and also technology prowess, don't be surprised if we end up doing something with BMW. It's just a brand that I never really paid attention to, and just by getting a little exposure through that interaction has opened my eyes wide and large. So I will put up a poll. If you do think this is a brand we should play around with, let us know. Let's say by Friday, I'll put up a poll on my social networks and see what you guys think. And if so, maybe I'll make a stab at it and try and see what we can do in terms of our friends from BMW, which is good. So we talked about SEMA, talked about a few technology opportunities, and also talked about the BMW event that started at Design Works in Santa Monica and made its way to the Peterson in Los Angeles. It's good indeed, really good indeed. JBT Win, his favorite juice is grape. Mine is, let me answer, it doesn't let me answer digitally. So verbally, mine is orange juice. I do like apple juice from time to time. Cranberry once in a while, grapefruit. Anyway, I like juices. I like juices indeed. All right, guys. Well, I want to come in here and chat with all of you and share with you some of the insights we have going here at Bisimoto. How SEMA went, how the BMW event went as well. We talked a little bit about sleeving and a little bit of insight in regard to what we could do if we had a Bisimoto Pro Spring, how far we can buzz it and have a blast. So guys, my pleasure indeed. JBT Win, who says thanks for the session and more to come next week. I should be doing quite a bit of traveling during the week of Thanksgiving, but in the meantime, guys and girls, stay safe. We have more rain coming in Southern California. I believe I had a question about the toy drive coming up this Saturday. I do plan on going weather permitting, because typically I would take a car that is really fast and fun, but most of my cars have really sticky tires, some even on slicks, and don't fare very well in the rain for obvious reasons. So if it rains, I will not be there, but if it's dry on Saturday, which this pendulum keeps swinging on weather patterns, no rain, I'll be there. With the rain, probably not. Anyway, guys, have a pleasant balance of the afternoon. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Have a good one, guys. Cheers.